Hello, 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 and welcome to today's podcast. I'm your podcast host, Sharita Berry. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody is having an awesome day on today. So, what's in the news? You know what we're going to talk about on today? Yes, once again, our ongoing discussion, Roe versus Wade, is an ongoing discussion all across America and probably abroad as well. As I said on the other day, this decision that has been leaked and quote unquote said they will overturn Roe versus Wade will affect so many people. Low income communities for women, low income women that live in low income communities, LGBT community, trans community, all across the board. This is so big. I'm telling you, this is so big. As I stated on the other day, this is so big to the point, you know, Brown versus the Board of Education. That's how big it is. So we're going to give you the 411 spill the tea, the news on today. So according to Rick Hustle Bulletin, now that Roe is all but dead. Here are five voices on what happens next in Maryland. So this is what will happen in the state of Maryland. Advocates from both sides offer opinions on what will happen and what actions you should take regardless of which side of the fight you're on. So there's which side of the fight you're on. Pro-lifers, full-lifers. So there's already talks about protesting all across the board in every state. We already know that it's protesting in the state up there in um at the what is it protesting at what the Supreme Court already. So you got both sides protesting. You have um those that are for life, those that are pro-life, full lifers. Everybody is at the Supreme Court right now protesting because like I said, this is so big. This is, when I say big, big, just like Brown versus the Board of Education. That's how big this decision is. And as I stated yesterday, they still don't know who leaked the information. Don't know who, if it was somebody inside the Supreme Court, if it was one of the judge, one senator. I can't remember where I read it from, but one senator, Republican, Democrat, I don't know who he is, which side he is on. He think it's the woman that was confirmed to the Supreme Court, the one that Joe Biden picked to be the Supreme Court judge, the next Supreme Court judge. But that's even crazy too, y'all, because let me tell you, even though she was confirmed as the next Supreme Court judge. Check this out. And the person that she's supposed to be replacing is supposed to be retired. But check this out. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I'm trying to like scratch my head like, okay, so they confirmed her as the next Supreme Court judge. The person that she's supposed to replace is supposed to be retiring. But check this out. A couple of weeks ago, when I was skimming through the news, just skimming the news, because I don't watch the news on television, but sometimes I read the newspapers online and stuff like that. I saw somewhere it said if he does not retire, she will still maintain her position. I'm like, really? Like, okay, how that's going? So if he does not retire, she will still be confirmed as, she'll still maintain her position that she was confirmed as the next Supreme Court judge. even though that person, if they do not retire, she will keep her status. I'm like, okay, so if that man don't retire, she still will keep her status. So when will she be put in that chair? Because he might not retire this year. He might not retire next year. He might not retire the year after that. That's crazy. I'm just saying. Hashtag IJS. I'm just saying. And it came to me earlier today to, to tell people, you may not want to know what's going on in the world, but to keep your eyes on what's going on in Washington, keep your eyes and ears on what's going on around the world. I'm telling you, because there's some stuff, man, it's about to jump off. We're about to have the first black woman I'm not saying the first black woman, but she will be the first African American woman, first African American press secretary. Isn't that something? We're about to have the first black African American press secretary. And I was thinking about that when I was like, something, there's never been a black press secretary. When I saw it yesterday, I was like, wow, that's amazing. And she's a female at that. So we're about to have the first black female press secretary, because the other press secretary, I think her name was Jen, don't quote me on that, or her name, she resigned. I think she resigned. I'm like, wow. And, COVID is still taking place. People that attended a function, don't quote me on this, but at the White House or wherever they attended this function at, are getting COVID-19. I mean, they said COVID-19 is, we are clear. They, mask mandate is no more, not necessary. But come on, guys. I really think that they should still do the mask mandate. Now, they took it, say a couple of weeks ago, they said, don't have to wear the mask on the buses and the airplanes and different trains. Now, they're reversed it and said, now go back to wearing your mask on the bus, planes and trains and airplanes now, because the numbers are coming back up. To this day, they said it was 1 million people. Guys, 1 million people died from COVID-19. Oh, don't quote me on that, but I ain't gonna say nothing, but hey, I'm not a politician, but I do have a voice. But I'm just keep my mouth on that. Let me zip it up. Because I could go to left lane and really spill some tea. But I really don't think 1 million people died from COVID-19. No, because in that 1 million, there were some people that probably died from natural causes. There were probably some people died from some sort of sickness and different things like that. And we know the conspiracy theories out there, they have their take and their theories and their hypotheses on different things. I'm not even going to go to what they say. But yeah, they said 1 million people died for COVID-19. And that's a lot of people. Like, literally a lot of people. I'm like, wow, wow, wow. A lot of people. So there's ongoing discussion about Roe versus Wade, depending on which side that you're on. So this is a report by Rick Hutzel. And it says how they found out that Publico had obtained a copy of the draft U.S. Supreme Court opinion ending federal protection of abortion rights. Now, they said that the daughter called them and wanted to talk about what she should do now. This person lives in Kentucky, where a state ban on abortion will take effect immediately. So in Kentucky, a state ban of abortion will take an effect immediately if the court follows through and overturns Roe versus Wade. the 1973 court decision that ruled women did have a right to end a pregnancy. The person's not pregnant, but she cares about women's rights and has a well thought out opinion on this subject. Now, like I said on the other day, this decision, if they decide to overturn it, will affect a certain number of states. If they decide to overturn it, I think it was 29 states will this ruling will take effect. Kentucky is one of them. So people are talking, people are whispering, people are like, okay, and this a lot of women. I'm not saying men, but it's a lot of women that want to know, okay, what should we do next? You know, uh, oh Lord, this is crazy. I mean, employers, companies are taking into consideration what they could do to help women out that they employ. So um I'm just tell you the states. I'm just tell you the states that will be affected. If I can let's see, because it's like this is a tough decision, y'all. They said 27 states. 27 states. The Marcher Institute, a research firm that tracks abortion policies and supports reproductive rights, has estimated that 27 states are likely to ban abortion once Roe is gone. So if they overturn it, these 27 states will ban abortion. Yes. So these states are, you may live in one of these states, and I'm quite sure they're protesting in that state today. If they're not protesting today, they may protest tomorrow, but I'm quite sure, like I said, they are protesting all around the country right now. Women are coming together, um, joining together. The pro-lifers, the for-lifers are protesting. The for-lifers are protesting because they do want it overturned, and the ones that's for abortion and reproduction rights are protesting because they do not want it to be overturned, because if it be overturned, it take away a woman's right to decide on abortion and other things as well. So the 20 states, um Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Carolina, North Dakota, Idaho, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So, the Center for Reproductive Rights, a legal group that fights abortion restrictions and tracks state laws, counts 25 states, is likely to ban abortion. It includes Pennsylvania, but not Florida, Iowa, and Montana. So, once the court issue its final ruling, so they have not issued their final ruling yet. They have not, I don't even think they voted on it yet. I don't know what's going on, but they have not issued a final ruling yet, whether they're going to overturn it or whether they're going to keep it. So changes could start happening quickly. The 13 states with trigger laws, those is Kentucky, Louisiana, and South Dakota, appear to take effect immediately. And Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Utah, and Wyoming, states attorneys general or other officials must take action to put the bans in effect. In Idaho, Tennessee, and Texas, the law would take effect 30 days after the court strikes down Roe. So, some states, it will take effect immediately. Other states, it will take effect 30 days after if they overturn it. Other states, the state's attorney general and other officials will take action to put the bans in effect. So, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. So in Maryland, the person said they grew up, has some of the strongest protection of abortion rights in the nation. And recent General Assembly sessions, it passed the Abortion Case Access Act that expands the kind of medical professionals who can perform abortions and funds $3.5 million a year for a program that would train more of them available. So we don't know what is going to take place, y'all. An effort to put reproductive rights to the Maryland Constitution failed. So it failed in the state of Maryland to put reproductive rights in the Constitution. But supporters have vowed to bring it back again. So they're going to try to bring it back again in the state of Maryland to put reproductive rights in the Maryland Constitution. So the person went on to say they answered that question. They went back to a story they wrote in January. Meanwhile, in Annapolis, talked with 5 advocates on both sides of abortion fight about what overturning Roe might look like in Maryland. So, in the state of Maryland will be an abortion sanctuary in a post-Roe America. So, in Maryland, it will be one of the states that women can go to get an abortion if Roe v Wade is overturned. So there are certain states that out of all 50 states that women will have to travel to get abortion. I remember when this all started and how different states was, overturning and banning abortion, different things like that. And women would have to travel. Women were actually traveling to other states just to get an abortion. And I'm like, like I said, I'm a pro-lifer because after so many weeks, that little tiny egg starts to develop, then it turns into a fetus. And me, that little fetus is a baby, it's a human being. So I'm a pro-lifer. I'm not for abortion. I'm a pro-lifer. And even though I'm a pro-lifer, I still I feel that a woman has a right to do whatever she wants to do with her body because hey, it's her body. Can't nobody tell you what to do with your body. I'm dead serious. Nobody has to say so. But the supreme being, God, God, that's the only person. And I was like that even when they had it started coming out with the vaccines. And people would come to me, ask me, what you think? What you think I should do? I'm like, yo, look at it. Hey, let me tell you something. I cannot tell you what to do with your body because that's your body. That's the thing. So when Roe, it's like when they overturn this, it's almost as if they're taking away a woman's rights to do what she wants to do with her body. Just as like telling a woman you can't go get your breasts get breast reconstruction surgery, or you can't get a tummy tuck, or you can't get a butt lift, or you can't get plastic surgery. That's just like going back saying, how it used to be, you know, when women didn't have a right to vote. Basically, that's just like taking away a woman's right to vote, taking a woman's right away to work, taking away a woman's right to um, be herself. You know, like I said, even though I am pro-lifer and I'm against abortion, but still, to take away a woman's reproductive rights and a right for her to choose, that's something I'm against. Some people may say, "Oh, you're a Christian, though." Yeah, I'm not a Christian because Jesus never called me that, nor did God call me a Christian. I am a believer of Christ. Point blank. That's number one. And I stand with women that saying, you know, hey, it's my body. I can do whatever I want with my body. If I want to go out here and get 35 piercings up and down my arm, that's my body. So when you take away a woman's right to do whatever she wants to do with her body, that's uh that's the thing that I have a problem with. That's where I have a problem with. So, and it's kind of sad, but it's upsetting at the same time. So relate to I can't relate to, but I kind of can understand how women feel right now. If this is overturned, I can see women crying that want abortion, you know, and there's so many different reasons why women get abortion. Yes, some women get pregnant and they did not mean to get pregnant, so they get abortion. Some women, pregnancy may be a result of rape, and they don't want to carry a baby that they was, you know, baby around knowing that they was raped. So many women get abortion because, hey, um they may have been told that something might go wrong with the baby. Some women can't carry children, or they know they have health issues, and you know, stuff like that, and the doctor say, okay, you know, have this particular health issue, you know, you can't get pregnant. If you do, it may kill you. There's so many different reasons why women get abortion. But like I said, you cannot tell nobody what to do with their body. You cannot take away a person's right to choose. I'm just saying, like I said, I'm pro life, but at the same time, you cannot take away a person's right to choose. If they want to get abortion, that's them. I can only tell them, hey, you know, this and that, you have other options, yada 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 yada. But if they don't want to go with the other options, that's their choice. So a lot of people are protesting. A lot of people they don't want this to be overturned, and I can understand. So the legislative session recognizes with the passage of HB 937, Abortion Care Access Act, that even in states like Maryland, access has been chipped away by a shortage of trained providers, poor insurance coverage, and anti-abortion rules imposed at the federal level every time there is a shift in power. We know that Maryland needed to be ready for an influx of patients. Women in Maryland need us to protect abortion access, and so do the women who look to Maryland as a safe haven and may soon be forced to travel hundreds of miles for health care. So, people do not have access to the financial resources and support they need to travel out of state, are forced to carry pregnancies or flee their states to seek abortion outside of the healthcare system. We're already seeing Texas patients right here in our health centers. So this is Karen J. Nelson, president and CEO of Planned Parenthood in Maryland. And that's what she had to state. And like I said, women are traveling to different parts of the state. Laura Bugley, director of legislation, Maryland Rights to Life. Um, Hopeful that the Supreme Court's pending ruling on Dobbs will return to state legislators their constitutional authority to regulate the practice of abortion and in doing so restore the integrity of the court. The American people were so a lie that the federalization of abortion was necessary to make it safe, legal, and rare. But it has become clear that the multi-billion-dollar abortion industry cares only that abortion is legal and lucrative. It is the job of the states to ensure that abortion is safe. And now, with this pending ruling, it seems the states may finally have the opportunity to do their job. The American abortion experiment has failed. Over 50 years, the Supreme Court judicial shielding of abortionists have failed to improve the lives of women and families. The practice of abortion in America has become the red light district of medicine, with the do-it-yourself abortion by pills. The abortion industry itself has subjected women to back alley style abortions where they bleed alone without medical supervision or assistance. With laws like the Maryland Abortion Care Access Act, abortion activists and government are removing abortion further outside the spectrum of healthcare. In Maryland, Democrat lawmakers, 60% of whom were endorsed in the last election by the National Abortion Rights Action League, are acting in the best interest of the abortion industry, not Maryland women and families. They recently passed the so-called Abortion Care Access Act, an extreme bill that removes existing legal protection for pregnant women by allowing non-physicians to perform abortions to determine a women's health and safety. Wow. So that was what Laura, the director of legislation, Maryland Right to Life, had to say pertaining to abortion. Lauren McCain, director of development and communications, Baltimore Abortion Fund. Long-term commitment. People in Maryland who want to help should donate monthly to the Baltimore Abortion Fund, which provides financial and support to people getting abortions in Maryland. Wow. So this is what some at Baltimore Fund posted on Twitter. It absolutely devastated to lose Roe, but this is not new. Financial and legalization bars have always prevented people from getting an abortion, especially people of color and those working to make ends meet. And that was posted on Twitter. We're also looking for dedicated volunteers to help with transportation to clinics and weekend coverage of our abortion support helpline. Volunteers will need to commit to 10 hours a month for at least 6 months. So there in Maryland, like I said, one is a safe haven state where women travel to go get abortion. And like one of the directors said, they're already seeing women in Texas where I think Texas is where abortion is banned, if I'm not mistaken. So there are certain states already where abortion is already banned. Way before Roe versus Wade, came into to the Supreme Court, when that paper hit, when them cases hit that desk, and for them to look at, to overturn it or to keep it as bay. And this is a little side note, not to get off subject, but do you all know that there are so many cases that are still in the Supreme Court to this day, and some of them cases are for them to overturn the ruling that was placed on that, and these cases go back, years. And not to get all the way off subject, but when we go to the states, when you go to, if you ever go to your state's constitution and your state's laws, you will be surprised of some of the laws and things that are written in the Constitution and laws in your state that goes back to like the 1960s, the 1970s, I mean, to the 1950s, to the 1920s, that they still have yet to change. There are so many laws that go all the way back from 1920s, 30s, 50s, 40s, 60s, 70s that I feel that need to be changed and looked at. Like I said, I'm not a politician, but I do have a voice. And I advise everyone to come on, express your voice. Use your voice to express your opinion. It ain't going to hurt nobody, but some people think it is. Well, I don't, but let's just carry on. So it's crazy, y'all. I'm telling you. It's 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 devastating. So they preparing. They haven't. It's crazy. So the decision could still change before the final decision is released, likely by the end of June. But if this draft opinion becomes the ruling of the court, the decision will dismantle nearly 50 years president of usher in the new era for reproductive rights, in which the legal status of abortion is decided by individual states. The draft opinion, written by Justice Samuel Alito, was published by Publico Monday night in a stunning breach of Supreme Court protocol and provided a first glimpse into the much anticipated Supreme Court ruling in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, which could become the most significant abortion case in generation. This thing, y'all, is so big. I'm telling you, this is so big. Like I said, y'all remember, now I wasn't around born during that time, but during segregation time, when it was Brown versus the Board of Education, how that case was so huge. I mean, it was on national TV all around the world, in other countries and other states. And that case drew so much attention. Brown versus the Board of Education. Why? Because the schools back then, during that time, were segregated. You had the blacks going to black schools, the Caucasians going to Caucasian schools. You had I'm excited. I'm not even gonna say black, because you know what? Black is the color of the street. Black is the color of a crayon, the color of the nail polish black. That's black. From now on, I'm just say brown, because I ain't black. I'm brown. I'm just saying. Hashtag IJS. I'm not black. I'm brown. And when I fill out paperwork and it get to the status of your ethnic background, you know what I put? I check other and I write in brown. I'm just saying, because I ain't black. I'm brown. That's just me. I don't say white, because white is the color of the color paint white. White is the color of the crayon white. I just say Caucasian because that is the correct term. I'm not a racist person. I'm just saying, because I have all races in my family. But this case is big, just like Brown versus Board of Education. And when that case was won, and when the other side won, schools was not segregated no more. So what did the Supreme Court have to say about it? Like I said, nobody don't know who leaked it. Nobody. So this was done. Why did they leak it? We will never know. What was the purpose that they leaked it? We will never know. I mean, like I said, We will never ever know. But they want to find out who, so they can take disciplinary actions, because this should never have been leaked to the public. That's just crazy. This should never have been leaked to the public. So, and like I said, this is, it's not a distraction, but we need to pay attention to what's going on in America. So what did the Supreme Court have to say about Roe versus Wade and the 98-page draft decision? So this draft that was leaked was 98 pages long. I recall when I was getting my bachelor's degree, and I had to write, oh my God, my capstone paper. Those y'all that got your master's degree and whatever course or whatever you took up in college, and at the end of your degree program for your master's, you had to write a capstone. We call it capstone paper at the college I went to. And it had to be so many pages, so many words. Ooh, I think I had to write 25 pages. Yeah, I think I had to write 25 pages. I think 20 to 25 pages. And I was like, how in the world I'm going to get 25 pages? And so I told my daughter, I said, my capstone paper has to be 20 to 25 pages, and I have a chance to get it published if I want. I can get it published if I wanted to. But I choose not to right now. And I think I wrote it on diabetes type 2 and the herbal use of diabetes and diabetes type 2, on how certain herbs can help support diabetes type 2 or something like that. Something along lines like that. But I do know it was about diabetes type 2. And I told my daughter, I said, I got to write 20 to 25 pages. And then after that, I have to do a presentation. So I have to do a PowerPoint that has to be 15 slides, 10 to 15 slides. And my daughter was like, Mom, you should be used to it because you're a writer, you're an author. So that should be a breeze. I'm like, but you don't understand. But this page that was released, these papers is a 98-page draft decision. Alito offered a harsh, so they said he was harsh, and they're really coming after him because I think if I'm not, don't quote me on it. I think he's the one that wants to overturn it. I'm not sure, but don't quote me on it. The Supreme Court's previous landmark ruling on abortion, including the 1973 case Roe versus Wade and subsequent the 1992 case Planned Parenthood versus Cassie, which upheld the constitutional right to an abortion established in Roe. Roe was equally wrong from the start. Alto wrote, its reasoning was exponentially weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences and far from bringing about a national settlement of the abortion issue. Roe and Cassie have inflamed debate and deepened division. Now, don't quote me on this. I remember seeing a video of how the Roe versus Wade started, and the person this lady came forth and said Roe versus Wade was fake. It was a lie. She was coerced into what to say so they can do this. So I can't remember where I saw the video, but it was on social Facebook at one time when somebody posted, and the person, she long past gone, but yeah, I want to say I saw the video. I'm not, don't quote me on it, but that's what I heard. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right in particularly protected by any constitutional provision, reads the draft opinion. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. The opinion also states that the right to abortion is not protected by the 14th Amendment's due process clause, which guarantees some rights not mentioned in the Constitution and is the backbone of several other major Supreme Court rulings, including the legalization of same-sex marriage, in Obligat Fellow versus Hodge, the right to birth control, and Griswold versus Connecticut, and the criminalization of anti-sodomy law in Lawrence versus Texas. Also said these rights have to be rooted in the nation's history and tradition in order to be protected by the 14th Amendment. So that's what all in the draft. That's this parts of what they said the draft, according to the time. That's what they said what's in this particular draft. So that means when this draft was released, other outlets obtained a copy. So this copy of the draft was probably passed on to other news outlets so they can read it. Like I said, we don't know who leaked it, but we know it's leaked it. The draft opinion is almost 3 months old, and early draft of Supreme Court opinions often change before the final decision is announced. So, will this draft be the final draft decision? We don't know. They don't know. So it can go through several different changes. Like I said, they have all the way up to June of this year. So this draft can go through several different changes before the final decision is made. So will it stand where it's at now? Nobody doesn't know. So this is like the waiting game. Some legal experts and abortion rights activists believe the Supreme Court's final verdict could be similar to the one published by Publico, given that the court's conservative majority had previously signed a willingness to dramatically certain control abortion rights based on this questioning during oral arguments in Dobbs. But the leak of the draft opinion may itself affect the final outcome. Whether this is the actual judgment of the court, I think remains to be seen, and it's probably why we've gotten the late leak, says Murray, according to the time. So, I don't know. This is, I don't know. It's really, it's a up in the air thing. Because like I said, like they said, the draft was released, so every news outlet has probably by now has a copy of the draft. And I wouldn't put it past it, even outlets in other countries has a copy of this draft, and everybody is talking about it. Well, apparently not everybody, but the majority of people are talking about it. I mean, it's the talk of the town, you may say. But hey, I want to get your opinion. What do you think will happen? Do you live in one of the states that I mentioned that will be affected if this is overruled? Or do you live in a state where is considered a safe haven state where women can come there and get abortion? But you got to remember, and not only that, the insurance companies will be affected as well. Not all insurance companies pay for abortion. Some do, some don't. Some pay half, and the woman have to pay the other half. So it is so much that goes on with this. And like I said, even though I am pro-life, I still think that you should not take away a woman's right to choose, because that's her body. At the end of the day, it's her body. She has the right to choose for herself. A doctor can't even tell a woman. He can give advice. Anybody can give advice, but at the end of the day, it's her choice, her right to choose. It's just like you taking away a woman's right to vote. And women back then, they fought tooth and nails, blood, sweat, and tears to 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 fight for a woman's right to vote. So, if you would like to be a guest, click on that little microphone thing, and let's weigh in your opinion. What you think will be the outcome, or are you a pro-lifer? Um, on what you might not, or you may be just in between the middle, and you don't know what side to take, but you have an opinion, you have a voice. Speak up. We would like to know your opinion. You got, hey, ladies, what side you staying on? Do you agree that women you know should not do you agree that a woman should have the right to choose because it's her body? Because I do. Even though I'm pro-life, I'm for life, but I still think that a woman should have a right to choose. you know Voice your opinion. Let's talk. Let's see. I would like to hear what you have to say. Anybody? Oh, I hate crickets. Oh, I hate crickets. But like I said, I know some people come on to just listen. It's okay. It's okay. I remember this one lady. One lady used to tell me, she said, "Girl, the only way I just love to hear you talk." And she would call me, come on my podcast, and different things, and she would listen. And then one day she told me, she called me on the phone. She said, "You know what? I just get on because I just love to hear you talk." And I said, "Okay, no, that's okay with me. I'm fine with that." She said, "No, but I want to tell you this." She said, "The reason why I love to hear you talk is because you talk your voice dialect. It's like you talk in different languages, and I know you're from this state, but it talk like you from that state, this state, this state, this state, this state, this country, that country." And that's okay, she said. And it's like your voice changed to different dialects or talk or whatever tone or however she was saying. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there just to get a little laugh. But nevertheless, we were talking about ongoing discussion that is the talk of the town in some states and some states not. It's the ongoing discussion of Roe versus Wade. This is so big, just like the case of Brown versus the Board of Education. So many eons and meons of decades ago. I wasn't born around that time. That was during the time of segregation, when schools were segregated, when you had the brown people going to the brown school and the Caucasian people going to the Caucasian school. And they had Brown versus Board of Education. And guess what? Brown won and schools became unsegregated. So I think that's how that went, if I'm not mistaken. I got to go back and check. But yeah, Roe versus Wade, this case that's in the Supreme Court is so big. The Supreme Court judge that wrote the pages, 98 pages, wants to end it and wants to overturn it because he has some opinions about it. And it was leaked a couple of days ago. I think it was leaked on Monday night, and nobody knows who did it. Don't know why the reason they did it, but it goes against the Supreme Court protocol. That means when they in session and different things that they're working on, I want to say stays cannot be leaked to the news, or however they got this protocol going. Um, and this one senator thinks that the lady that has been confirmed as the next Supreme Court judge, when this other Supreme Court dude retires, if he retires, thinks she did it, which I laughed a little bit. But how did she think she did it when she's not even a judge yet? She's just been confirmed as Supreme Court judge, even though she is a judge, I think. But there's so many different theories that's floating around. I mean, all kinds of theories, just theories on top of theories. And you got the conspiracy theories out there too. They got stuff to say too. But it's crazy. So we still got we still got Ukraine and Russia going on. That's still ongoing, and it's crazy. So let's move on to our next discussion. Yeah, next discussion, y'all. Next discussion. If anybody don't have anything to say, I'm going to move on. Going to move on because I want to make sure I cover some ground. This is so, oh my God, it's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. So many people are posting different things on Twitter. I'm quite sure it's trending. I'm quite sure. Let's go over to Twitter right now. Let's go over to Twitter and let's see what's trending. I don't see anything that's trending. It's not trending because usually you can go to let's see. There were 3,300 tweets in the last hour pertaining to Roe versus Wade. It's not even trending like that. Um it's not even trending like that. Some person, Blondie Emergency MD, she said it was one day ago. If you and your partner do not agree about Roe versus Wade, it's time to break up. Have multiple acquaintances going through this right now. Wow. Shannon Watts, a reminder that the same lawmakers who say gun laws won't stop gun violence believe abortion laws will stop abortion. Hashtag Roe versus Wade. Wow. Entertainment Weekly. This is the most activist, politically oriented, narrowly focused Supreme Court in United States history. Jane Fonda said of a potential Roe versus Wade rival. Ethan Klein, women are officially second class citizens in America now with Roe versus Wade overturned. The very basic right to control your body is lost. It's a scary time to be a woman in America, and I'll support you with everything I can. Occupy Democrats. Breaking news. Canada announced that it will certainly, okay, y'all, Canada, when when a lot of things broke out, Canada. Oh my God, this is so funny. Let's go all the way back, not to get off subject, but I'm gonna go back to what Canada said on Twitter. When Trump was being elected as president, a lot of people said, "Oh, I'm going to Canada because I don't want one." I think that was when they was going to go to Canada. Oh my God! And then Canada was being flooded with all sorts of things, and their grid shut, like kind of like went offline or whatever the case may be, because so many people were going to their website and looking up how to become a citizen of Canada. That is so funny, just thinking about it. Occupy Democrats, and I'm over here on Twitter. Not going to tell all the tweets because that just take too long. So, Occupy Democrats breaking news: Canada announces that it will certainly allow American women to Canada to receive abortion case if Roe versus Wade is overturned, because every woman in the world deserves access. RT2 thank Canada. Scott, according to Twitter, the justice who lied to Congress on Roe versus Wade is what matters, not the leaker. Wow. Oh, somebody named Joe Bette Midler suggested women should stop having sex with men until Congress protects Roe versus Wade. Wow. Bernie Sanders. So this is Bernie Sanders. Congress must pass legislation that confiles Roe versus Wade as the law of the land in this country now. And if there aren't 60 votes in the Senate to do it, and there are not, we must end the filibuster to pass it with 50 votes. Julia, the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, while the whole country is distracted by an inconsequential event, celebrating extreme wealth is unfortunately the most symbolic representation of America. I'm not even going to read this because this is too long. But Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, did make a statement about it. She made a statement on May the 3rd. I'll try to read some of it. So let me just go and read the statement. Oh, wow. Okay. This is a statement made by President and Miss Obama on the draft Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, May the 3rd, 2022. Today, millions of Americans woke up hearing that their essential freedoms under the Constitution were at risk. If the Supreme Court ultimately decides to overturn the landmark case of Roe versus Wade, then it will not only reverse nearly 50 years of precedent, it will regulate the most intensely personal decision someone can make to the whims of politicians and ideologists. If any women make the decision to terminate a pregnancy casually, and people of goodwill across the political spectrum can hold different views on the subject. But what Roe recognized is that the freedom enriched in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution requires all of us to enjoy a spirit of our lives that isn't subject to meddling from the state, a sphere that includes personal decisions involving who we sleep with, who we marry, whether or not to use contraception, or whether or not to bear children. As the court has previously determined, our freedom are not unlimited. Society has a compelling interest in other circumstances. For example, in protecting children from abuse or people from self-harm, and the framework constructed by Roe and subsequent court decisions allow legislatures to impose greater restrictions on abortion later in pregnancy. But this draft decision doesn't seek to balance these interests. Instead, it simply folks to give up any constitutionally recognize interest in what happens to their body once they get pregnant. Under court's logic, state legislators could dictate that women carry every pregnancy to term, no matter how early it is, and no matter what circumstances led to it, even rape or incest. The consequences of this decision will be a blow not just to women, but to all of us who believe that in a free society, there are limits to how much the government can encroach on our personal lives. And this decision is unlikely to significantly reduce abortion, which have been steadily going down over the past several decades, thanks to in part, large part, to better access to contraception and wait a minute, y'all. Education. Instead, we're already begun to see in states that restrictive abortion laws, those women with means who travel to states where abortion remains legal and safe. Meanwhile, those without enough money or access to transportation or ability to take off from school or work will face the same circumstances most women faced before Roe, desperately seeking out illegal abortions that inadvertently pose grave risks to their health, their future ability to bear children, and sometimes their lives. That's a result none of us should want, but it should serve as a powerful reminder of the central role the courts play in protecting our rights and of the fact that elections have consequences. A clear majority of Americans support Roe, yet we recognize that while many are angry and frustrated by this report, some of those who support Roe may feel hopeless and instinctively turn back to their work or families or daily tasks, telling themselves that because that outcome may have been pre- pre- predicted, there's nothing any of us can do. If that's you, we ask you to think about the college student waking up after her date forced her into unprotected sex. Think about the core couple that tried to have children for years, who are without any options when faced with the tragic reality of an unvivid pregnancy. Think of any of the hundreds of thousands of women each year who deserve the dignity and freedom of making a decision that is right for their bodies and their circumstances. You might be one of those people, or you might know some of them by name. If you don't, ask yourself if you know anyone's whole story. But we're not asking you to just think about these people. We're asking you to join with the activities activists who's been sounding the alarm on this issue for years and act. Stand with them at a local protest. Volunteer with them on a campaign. Join them in urging Congress to codify Roe into law and vote alongside them on or before November the 8th and in every other election. Because in the end, if we want judges, we will protect all and not just some of our rights, then we've got to elect officials committed to doing the same. So that was a letter. I mean, that was not a letter, but that was a statement by Barack Obama and Michelle Obama pertaining to Roe versus Wade. And here's George. Those MFers really did it. First, they came for black voters. Then they targeted LGBT community Q plus families. Now, women of America, they're overruling Roe versus Wade. We have to unite and strike back, take to the streets, overwhelm them at the ballot box. They have gone too blank, blank far. Camilla Harris, Vice President Camilla Harris, on Twitter, this is one day ago. At its core, Roe versus Wade recognizes the fundamental right to privacy. When the right to privacy is attacked, anyone in our country may face a future where the government can interfere in their personal decisions, not just women, anyone. And that is so true. That is so true. That is so true. Elizabeth Warren, an extremist Supreme Court, is poised to overturn Roe versus Wade and impose its far right, unpopular view on the entire country. It's time for the millions who support the Constitution and abortion rights to stand up and make their voice heard. We're not going back, not ever. Right. Wow. So, Women's March. This was 4 days ago on Twitter. If Roe versus Wade fails, more than a dozen GOP states are ready to immediately ban or restrict abortion with trigger laws. Millions of Americans will lose access to critical reproductive care. Now's the time to stop this crisis. Pass the Women's Health Protection Act. So there's a Women's Health Protection Act that they trying to get them to pass. So, Occupy Democrats, and this will be Occupy Democrats. Chief Justice John Roberts wins that the leaking of the Republican-controlled court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade is absolutely appalling, and he worries that one bad apple will sour Americans on the court. Wow. So I'm going to read two more, and that's it. Palmer report: Schumer is holding a vote on Roe v. Wade next week. Good. It will fail, but that's the point. Let these Republicans filibuster it. It'll put pressure on Samima, Krowski, etc. to exempt it from filibuster. And if they refuse, it's our narrative for winning more seats in November. Wow. So this is about Goodbye Young. Good Die Young. Good Die Young is based in Tennessee, a state with a trigger law on abortion is placed. Should Roe v. Wade be overturned, we, like many of you feel betrayed by the threat of this classics, controlling and regressive proposal. So, like I said, Tennessee is one of the states. If they overturn abortion, Tennessee is one of the states on the list that where abortion will be banned. Yeah. Yep. So, last one, Chuck Schumer. With the Roberts Court on the verge of tearing down Roe v. Wade, Senate Republicans suddenly don't want to talk about their complicity in this effort no more. The Senate will vote next week on protecting abortion rights. Americans will see where every single senator stands. So, and he posted it 20 hours ago. So, there'll be a vote next week, and we will see. We will see. Hillary Clinton, Robert Dunn. Hillary Clinton speaks on overturning Roe v. Wade. Once you allow this kind of extreme power to take hold, you have no idea who they are coming for next. The only answer is to elect people who will stand up for Americans' rights. This is why I said a few weeks back that we need to vote new people in. You focus on the president, but the president is not the one that makes laws, people. You focus on the wrong people. The president does not make laws. He just sign them. That's about it. The president is not the boss of anything. For real. It's the senators, the Republicans, the Democrats, and all of them that runs America. Quote unquote. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on the other side of the dime because I don't want to spill the tea. Too hot to spill right now. But when it's election time, people need to get out and vote for the senators and the Republicans and Democrats in your state. They're the ones that make the laws, and they're the ones that enforce the laws. Do you know there are so many laws that are in so many documents that are sitting on their desk right now that have not been voted on yet, but can be retroactive anytime? Remember when it was tax season, and then all of a sudden, for those that have children, all of a sudden when that particular tax season came in a couple of years ago, and they said that now people that have children have to wait until February the 15th to receive that tax refund. Remember that law? Do you not understand that that particular clause pertaining to the IRS was been came up in Congress years and years and years ago when Clinton was in office, when Bush, I'm talking about the father that was in office, and it was already talked about, but they never voted on it. They never passed it until the year before. I think Barack Obama was president then. So there are a lot of different laws that are sitting on the senators and Republicans and Democrats' desks that they're drafting each and every day. Some have not been passed, some have, without us even noticing it. You know, when January the 1st came, there were so many laws that were put in place in so many states after, when COVID came in. There were so many different things that was just a surprise. So many different things took effect January the 1st, 2022. Y'all better pay attention. I'm telling you. Pay attention. Because when they pass laws and they send it to the president to sign on it, and the president can veto it and say, no, I'm not going to pass this. I'm not going to allow this. Do you not understand that if when it goes back to the Senate and the House of Representatives and all Democrats, Republicans, they can either say, okay, the president veto it. But in actuality, they can overturn the president veto and pass it anyway. Did y'all know that? Y'all didn't pay attention? And not history class, but whatever class that was, government class, I don't know. I learned that in Catholic school. I didn't go to public school to learn that. I learned that in Catholic school. Because, yep, I went to Catholic school. Sure did. And some stuff I learned by reading because I love reading. I read all kinds of books, except for romance books. I used to read romance books when I was a teenager, but now I can't stand them. I don't even like romance movies. They just suck. And they are boring to me. Yes, they're boring. Very boring. So boring. They're just boring. But anyway, yeah. There's so y'all, that's why I be telling people, pay attention. Don't let things distract you. Pay attention. You may not get tired of watching the news. But let me tell you, pay attention. You don't have to watch it. If certain things grab your attention, you better sit down and watch it. Because that's what I do. I don't watch the news, but I'll go to Google News or I'll go to Yahoo News and I'll read different things, or I'll watch the news on social media. And if something grabs my attention, I'll sit and watch and listen to the very end. And I'm like, oh, okay. Still, you know what? This is so funny. This just came to me. This Roe versus Wade took everybody attention off of what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. Did you know that? That's so funny. It's crazy. They know how to distract us. Yeah, it took a lot of people's attention off of what's still going on with Russia and Ukraine. And that's crazy because there's still what's going on between them. We're going to talk about that next week. But if nobody have anything to say or want to weigh in on the discussion, I thank everyone for joining me. Please follow me. Please share this podcast, or, thumbs up. If you want to email me, sharitaberry@outlook.com. The name at the bottom of the screen that you see underneath my picture, sharitaberry@outlook.com. Email me if you have a particular topic that you would like me to discuss, because I talk about everything and anything. I talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about that will literally get me banned off of podcasting. Yup, because it's crazy. They banned me from Facebook for 5 days. I told my daughter that this morning or last night. I said, guess what? She said, what? I said, did you know they banned me from Facebook for 5 days? I can't do a Facebook Live for 5 days. She was like, Mom, what you do? I said, I don't know. So I talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about, too scared to talk about because they're afraid to voice their opinion. But hey, I'm gonna voice my opinion. Like I said, I'm not a politician, but I do have a voice. I talk about stuff that will literally get me banned off the news. From people will just like, no, we gonna blackball her. We're not gonna interview her because no, we don't want to interview her. No, we don't want to interview Sharita. What the people like? You can interview Sharita. She's a good, she make a good person to bring on your podcast. No, we don't want to bring her. She talk about stuff that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to discuss because we just no. See me, I talk about things that really make you think, that will open your eyes and your ears, that will cause you to pay attention and not get distracted. And on that note, peace, deuces, and namaste.